Hi everyone, this is Sandra with Little Bit of DIY. Here is the video on how to make the plaid Christmas sign. So in your box you will find roll of tape, your frame boards, stencil, sandpaper, sponge, and inside the sponge is a weeding needle, so just be careful you don't poke yourself, and then the main sign. You want to find the smoothest side of your board, and then you still need to sand that down just a touch. Sand the edges, get all the rough stuff off. Wipe it off, and then you can go ahead and paint your board. I chose to go for more of a burgundy color on the background, so I used red, and this is just paint from the dollar store. Red, and then a couple drops of black, not too much. Paint the whole thing, and you'll most likely need to do 2 passes. Let it dry, and then you can put it aside and you can go ahead and do the frames. So what I like to do for the frames to kind of give it a stained look is paint them with baby wipes if you have baby wipes available, or even like a wet paper towel. This kind of brings out the grain of the wood. So I always like to mix colors. So I did dark gray with a little bit of brown. So dip your baby wipe in there and then just rub the paint on. Wipe the paint on. And you can go as dark or as light as you like to go. Make sure that you paint the ends too, only of the longer ones. The shorter ones will get covered up. Put that aside and get back to your main sign. I like to just give it a quick light sand after, just to smoothen out the board so that it's ready for your tape and that it'll stick good. Wipe it off. Now we are ready to tape the sign. So what you're going to do first is line up a piece of tape with the very top of the board. Now your second piece of tape is going to be your spacer. So line that up with the first piece of tape that you put on. Now the third one, line that one up as well. Make sure everything is straight. Then you can go ahead and take the second piece of tape off, and you're going to use that one again for your spacer. And you're going to be using that one over and over. So make sure that your first piece of tape is the one that's touching the top. This is very important, otherwise it won't work. Rub everything down, make sure everything is sticking good. Then what I did is I grabbed the cup that I used with my first color, and then I added a couple more drops of black to make it just a touch darker. Then you can paint it on. Paint with the tape so that there is a less chance of paint leaking underneath. You'll probably have to do 2 coats, but it's up to you. If you like a distressed look, then you don't need to do that. You can use a blow dryer to dry it if you like, or you can just have a cup of coffee and wait till it's dry. You can go ahead and remove the tape. Make sure it's completely dry, and then you can start on our vertical pieces of tape. So the first tape you lay down is your spacer, and the second one is the one that you need to stay. Make sure that you're doing it that way. Again, rub it down, making sure that it's all stuck. And then I use the same color that I used before for these lines as well. So you'll be using 3 colors in total. There's going to be your light, your medium, and then your dark. So you do not need to use red. You can also go, for example, with gray. So then you would use white for your base coat, light gray for the second and third, and then dark gray or black for the last one. Okay, so for this one you need to leave your tape, let it dry and leave the tape that you have put on. Now we're going to go back and put on the horizontal lines. Top tape stays, and then the second one is your spacer. You are basically covering the lines that you have originally painted. So make sure that you leave the other tape there, because we're going to be painting the black squares. Make sure everything's stuck down. And then use your last color. So that will be the darkest of the 3, and I chose black for that. Let that dry, and then you can go ahead and remove the tape. And there is your plaid sign. Now let it completely dry, and we will be ready to move on to the next step. We're going to just give it a quick sand, just to smooth everything down so it's ready for our vinyl stencil to go on, and so that we're sure it sticks. Wipe it off when you're done sanding. Now you can go ahead and grab your stencil, and you're going to need a credit card to kind of rub the stencil onto your transfer paper. Now the transfer paper is the clear tackiness that's on top of your vinyl, and you're going to be slowly peeling it back, taking the white vinyl off with it. You can go ahead and find a center. And it's pretty forgiving with being able to move it if you don't have it straight the first time. Use your card again and rub it onto the wood, because now we want the white vinyl to stick to our wood. Now slowly peel your transfer paper, the clear paper, back, and slowly peel it off. I might have gone a little too fast on that one. I do recommend going a little bit slower than that. Like what I'm doing now, something did not stick, so you need to go back and put it back on. So just go nice and slow, making sure everything is sticking. If you find it's not, you can kind of roll, like what I'm doing there, and roll it back and forth till it's sticking. Rub your fingers over it, make sure everything is stuck down. So here's a sponge. Take the needle out, you're going to use that later. Now you can grab, if you have clothespins, I do recommend using it. Just kind of gives a handle on the sponge, but you don't need to use it. And I was too lazy to get a cup, so I just put some white paint on my stencil. And then dab your sponge in it and get some of the excess paint off. And then you can start dabbing onto your stencil. Light, thin coats is the key, otherwise there is a chance of the paint leaking underneath your stencil. And you will most likely need to do this 2 or 3 coats. Okay, when you think you're done, let it dry for the most part. Doesn't need to be completely dry, but it is sure nice to have it mostly dry. and then you can slowly peel your vinyl back. It's going to most likely rip, and that's okay. I was lucky and got it in one shot there. Now you're going to get your needle, and you're going to use it to take any pieces that are still stuck off. With the deer, there is the letters that need to come off. Sorry, it's kind of hard to see here, but you will be able to see it in a second. And there you go. Sometimes there's middles of the E's and A's, make sure you take those out as well. Now we're ready to put the frame on. So what I like to do is I like to pre-hammer my nails in. So do 3 nails close to the edge of the board and then line it up. So do the 2 short pieces first. Line it up, hammer those nails into your sign all the way. Please watch your thumbs. And go in as straight as you can because the board is quite thin, so it's kind of tricky to do. So that's one side, and now do the same thing with the opposite side. And then do the long pieces over top of those pieces when that's done. And there you have it. There is your Christmas plaid sign. I hope you have lots of fun. If you do have any questions, please don't hesitate to message me and ask. Alright, bye!